Hello, and welcome to the second invitation. Let me adjust something really quick. Hello. So good to see your face, Allison. Let's see if I can get something adjusted. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of a small group. Terry, hello. Michelle, hello. Jen, and I know some are off camera still logging on. Heather. I'm so excited about this, but then I just walked around and started meditating in my yard, and my energy is, I'm gonna have to like get myself back up because I have so much like peace coming through, and it hasn't been that way the last few days. So I'm excited to jump in. No worries, Jennifer. And I just first want to start with pouring a glass because this is a happy hour. So get yourself a beautiful beverage if you haven't already. I'm using my one purchase from France, which is a vintage champagne bucket. That was fun bringing back. It's kind of leaking everywhere. I'm wondering how functional it actually is. But I'm going to pour myself a glass of champagne, and we are going to have some conversations that hopefully initiate some invitations for yourself to deepen just, everything I do is about the truth frequency. Everything I do is about you getting to know you better. And I think you're going to laugh a little bit because I'm going to tell some embarrassing stories about my adventures in France and how spirit is always teaching me lessons. And I can laugh at it because I know that this is how we learn and this is how we evolve. But first, cheers to you guys. Thanks for being here live. Cheers to all of you that are going to be listening to the replay. And cheers to all of you that are going to hear it on the podcast. I salute you. Happy Thursday. I I was a little nervous to post the last one. I don't know why, but I have probably you guys can relate to this, but watching yourself on video is never fun. We can be so mean to ourselves. And so I have hired somebody to help me, and what she's helping me with is voice invisibility. I've done none of the homework she's assigned to me. I've been the worst person probably ever that she's worked with. And one of the things was this is doing this. And I love the idea. My sacral authority expanded. And I thought, that's what I love to do is I love to almost have this environment like you guys are coming into my home, which a lot of you have been in my home, and I spoil you, and I'm excited, and I want to hug you, and I want to just sit you out back, and I want to serve you champagne, and I want to talk about life, and I want to talk about the hard things and the good things and the sad things and the inspirational things. And that's just who I am. And so I thought, what better way to do it and do it in an environment for those who just maybe have a question time to time or just need an extra energetic zolt. Is that a word? Jolt. I think it was jolt that I was looking for. Don't worry, the champagne will start working in a minute. So I had the recording from last time, and I just kept getting this anxiety because there's this something that I run into that I feel like this is intimate. Like I feel like all my conversations are intimate, but that also is the work is that this type of intimacy is in all of us. And so I felt almost like, well, I'm just having a conversation with them now to put it on the podcast. That's like putting it out to everyone. And she's like, but isn't that the point? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. And so I put it out today. And so it doesn't have a lot of views because I put it out. And I put it up myself. So it doesn't have an intro, doesn't have an outro, if that's even how you say it. And so it's just kind of like, okay, we're going to see where this goes. But what I realized is what I'm afraid of, and I decided to change the name because I think we all have this, but is kind of the energy of Karens. But my neighbor is a Karen, and she's the most sweetest woman in the whole world. And so we're going to say Gertrude. So there's the energy of Gertrude, who are just kind of negative and just not your fan. And they live in our brain for rent free. And so I have a lot of Gertrudes in my brain, and I have a lot of incidences that I play out in my mind where it's just full of Gertrudes, and they don't like me, and they make fun of me, and they think I'm a fraud, and they make fun of the way that I wear my hair and everything that I could ever think of. Gertrude is right there, like just front and center, reminding me that I should probably quit everything. And when I started to like give that some attention, I started to realize that most of my life has been me in a room with a bunch of Gertrudes until I am either tired or hungry or intoxicated. And then I say what I want eventually. And I don't want to be tired or hungry or intoxicated to say what I really want to say. I want to say what I really want to say in a room full of people that are really excited to listen. And my channel has always been strong. I've always been psychic, but my delivery has taken some finessing over time. And what I want to tell you guys, because I think that you all have this as well, is that sometimes we, as psychic beings, as intuitive beings, as beings that are a conscious channel, whether we know it or not, are always enmeshed with other energy. And going to France, this was really, really, really loud for me because usually when I go on a retreat, I always want to go by myself. And I realize why I want to go by myself, and it's because I have a better chance, not always, but a better chance of staying in my own energetic field. Now, when I take my cousin and my sister-in-law and one of my good friends to a VIP retreat and things are going very differently than the way I run retreats, I'm not only feeling how I'm responding, I'm feeling how everyone else is responding. And then guess what I do? I step in my masculine and I make it better or attempt to. And this is what was happening. And I'm like, gosh, I really do emotionally labor. And this is what I help clients with. Like, don't emotionally labor. We need to emotionally lead. Well, another facet of that is being revealed in this season. And so when another facet is being revealed to us about where we're emotionally laboring, that means we have to ask why. And I realized it's because then I can feel safe, then I can breathe. So if I take care of you and 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 I take care of you, I can exhale. Because then you're okay. If you're okay, then I can be okay. And that is the definition of codependence. And so I've done work my whole life on this codependence. I've done work my whole life on getting to know my soul better. I've done work my whole life on trying to have better boundaries. But there's different areas of our chart that get highlighted with astrology. And when we have Mercury in retrograde and Saturn in retrograde, you will be hit pretty hard with the areas that need a little bit more work. And I just don't think we ever check all the boxes. I think it's just an unfolding. And so as we go into Leo season, Leo loves to be seen. Leo loves to have something to say, have something to share. Leo shines from a place of creativity. Leo is the heart chakra. Now, that sounds fabulous. And sometimes Leo gets a bad rap because in the shadow of Leo, it's like, it's all about me. It's all about me. But really, Leo loves to serve, loves to serve. But if they are wanting to serve from a heart-centered place, and all of a sudden the curtains open and it's a bunch of Gertrudes, they're kind of fucked. Like, they're not going to serve from their heart. They're going to be like, oh no, and they're going to fumble and they're going to emotionally labor and they're going to start to change their own energy and the way that they want to give and their artistry and their creativity and who they really are with their purpose to accommodate. And this is where I started to look at all the areas of my life that I'm still walking on eggshells around the Gertrudes. Like, I'm really, truly still doing it today. And I want to just start this conversation and have a glass of wine with you guys about it because I would love for us to realize that this is just us playing small and keeping it safe and not living our purpose, not living in our heart chakra, not living in our truth frequency, because we would rather be safe than step into the unknown of who we really are and see what could possibly happen. And there will be people that will be offended. There will be people that don't like us. Everything that we fear is going to happen will happen. It will. But what also will happen, we don't know. We can't know, or we would probably have done it a long time ago. And so when I got back from France, there's a lot going in my life. I'm a grandma now. um, I have a lot of things that have been very heavy and very big in the last 6 weeks. And so to go out of the country and be in a different energetic environment and also be having all of these lessons and these awarenesses to come back to integrate was hard. And so yesterday I cried like almost the whole day. I didn't even think I had any more tears left. And when a baby's sleeping, like especially a newborn baby, and their face is just so beautiful, babies are hypnotic. Like having this little baby now in my life, I just could stare at her. I'm just hypnotized. But sometimes she'll make this face like she's going to cry, and you're like, oh God, like you just hold your breath. You're like, is she going to wake up? And it's like, what is she dreaming about? Like, does she even know pain yet? Like, what is that on her face? That was me yesterday. So I would cry myself to sleep, And then I would wake up and like have that face of like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to even be alive right now. It's so painful. And I'd cry again and then I fall asleep. And I know this about myself enough to know this needs to happen. This is an okay release. It's not that I really am like suicidal, and I say that with so much care because it's a tender subject and I was in my life at one point. But I say it in more of a place of if you are on the path to do deep soul work, the the contrast of what you feel is so big and the sadness is crippling sometimes. And if you allow yourself to feel it, there will be another day. There will be a new dawn. And so I just knew that I had a lot of sadness to release. And part of the sadness was releasing the layers of my people pleasing, of my wanting to be friends with Gertrudes, of my letting Gertrudes in my home and spoiling them because I just wanted them to be okay so I could be okay. And it was so many facets of myself that were still alive and pulsing as I need to be this certain way to be digestible. I need to be this certain way for people to not think I'm a joke. And it's so sad. It's heartbreaking. And I think that I'm going to try to tie this in. And I want to, because these are going to be used on the podcast, everyone that is in the Diamond Codes membership can ask me personal astrology questions. But other than that, I'm going to try to keep it really general because last time I kind of got it personal a little bit, and it does feel confusing to people that don't understand. So if you're in the Diamond Codes and you've emailed me a personal question about astrology, I will answer that in that space. But for to just generalize it, Venus is like the beauty, the heart chakra, the relationships, the creativity. That just it moved into Cancer. And for me, I felt like it's moving into like the wine cellar of my heart. Now, that is just how I interpret it. But when you think of Venus moving into Cancer, which Cancer is maternal, nurturing, this is an opportunity to really come home, to love ourselves unconditionally, even the parts of ourselves that might be a little spicy. And that's the part of myself I'm trying so hard to protect. If people knew what I really wanted to say, they wouldn't like me. If I said it like that, they wouldn't like me. And it's because in my life I've said things where people are like shocked that I said it. But it's because it's who I am and it's because of what I see. And so has my delivery gotten better as I've matured? Yes. And will it continue to get better? Hopefully, yes. But I can't stop sugarcoating things because the way I see things is that's not working. You're hiding here. And so this is a big moment of me looking in the mirror of where am I hiding? And how can I go in and really, hold my little girl's hand and help re-raise her and reparent her in a way that's it's okay to go on stage and actually sing the song you want to sing and be creative in the way you want to be creative and say what you want to say and help people in the way that you want to help people. And another thing that is coming up through this for me is identity. Like I've taken astrology classes, I've gotten certified in different astrology classes. I struggle to say I'm an astrologer. I struggle to even say I'm a psychic medium. If you see me in public and you hear somebody ask what I do, I'm like, like I don't know what to say. Like I get so uncomfortable. And part of it is because I know that they're going to have more questions. And then probably I'm like, let me pull your chart, sit down 2 hours later. And it's just like, I'll pour into them. And I don't want to do that anymore because it's exhausting sometimes. But I feel like it's like they have a need and I'm available right now. And it's just something I have to learn. But these are the things that we have to get more confident in, who are we really? And why do we not think we're good enough to say, like, I'm an artist or, I'm whatever it is that you're doing. I'm a coach, I'm a mentor. I know that a lot of you are in this industry, so that's why I'm saying these things, but we have to let ourselves own it and know that there's a huge spectrum and you will always be growing and you won't be a hypocrite. You will just say, I've learned, I've grown, I've evolved. That's the point. So actually I'm practicing the stuff that I teach and put out in the world, and it's beautiful. And so just to give you guys a little laugh, I'll tell one of my France stories after I take a sip of this. So I have sacral authority in human design. And that means I know yes very well in my body, and I know no very well in my body. But I don't read things. I don't always investigate like I should. I'm a one line, but I don't do that. I'm just like, yes, I'm supposed to be there. And I always think that life is full of lessons, and whether it's what I should do or shouldn't do, I'll always take the lesson in stride. And that's mostly true. Well, I was drawn to work with this woman, Natalia, and she is Unleash the Goddess on Instagram, and she is just beautiful. She just has this beautiful, flowy, feminine energy, and she takes you through the south of France to learn about the path of Mary Magdalene. And I'm like, I want to do that. I think that sounds really beautiful, and I would like to connect with that part of myself and get more feminine. And I don't know what I do not know what I thought. I don't know if I thought Isis's throne was going to be on the side of the damn road. I don't know if I thought all these castles were going to be within a 12-minute radius of her house. I don't know if I thought these little holy swimming pools were going to just be like, you park and walk up to them with your gown on for ceremony, because none of that is true. Like, we were driving 2.5 hours. I get severely car sick, which I did. We were hiking. Like, one of my friends wore her Tory Burch sandals, and I'm in a velvet gown in like 100-degree weather. I'm like, I did not know we were going on a hike. Like, I didn't. I know. I owned all this. We went on picnics, like sitting down picnics in nature, which also is like, put on a dress and let's have a picnic for a minute, take some photos, and then go into some AC and have some rosé with lunch. Like, I didn't know. And those of you that have been in my retreats, you know how I do retreats. This was just a little different. It was just a little bit more like wild woman. And so on one of the last days, when I've kind of like exhausted myself with realizing like I had no fucking idea what I was getting into, we were climbing over these like tree roots on this what felt like a cliff. Like, if I fell, I would have probably broke something. And I am just like, I'm starting to like shake. I'm just kind of mad, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm just over it. And Natalia, who's done this, I don't know, 50 times, is trying to lead us to these little swimming pools that are holy water. And there's like families around and big dogs, not on leashes, barking, and I'm scared of dogs. And she's walking over this big boulder, like a waterfall. It's a waterfall. And I'm like, I'm not fucking walking over that waterfall. Like, I'm in a gown. And so I see that there's a lower part of the river, and it is like covered with sheath rocks and moss and also very slippery, dangerous stuff. And there's a family trying to cross at snail speed. Like, I can't wait for them to cross because I'll be there tomorrow. Like, I just was like, and my sister-in-law Jane is like, don't. And I'm like, I'm going. She's like, don't. And I'm like, I'm going. And so I like I'm like, I'm from Colorado in my mind. Like, I am just, my ego is the size of Texas. And I am going across this river faster than everybody because I'm showing them that they're all just, I don't know I actually don't know. I didn't think that far into it. I just knew that I'm over it. I'm almost to the other side. Like, I'm so proud of myself because I was like there. And I go to step out of the water and just feet up and laid on my back in this river. And my purse is full of water. My freaking phone's at the bottom of the river. My ID's floating, and I'm up as fast as I went down. My toes bleeding. My freaking toenail broke off. Like, it was, it was so embarrassing. And the only thing I could access was embarrassment. I was not. There was no pain. I was like, I am a dumb American. Like, and I don't even know that they would know I was an American, but in my mind, everyone around there was French and was like, you are a dumb American. And I was like, I know, and I'm going to go hide behind this boulder. So I got out and I ran and like hid behind this, and I just sat down and I was like dumping the water out of my purse. Bless Natalia, because she comes over after getting my phone out of the river. And I said, I need communication. I need a schedule. I needed to know that we were driving because I get car sick, and I am car sick. I needed to know the terrain. And I said terrain like we've done, like, people need to know terrain. We need to know the terrain. I didn't wear the right shoes. And she's just like calmly, so sweet and calmly, just shaking her head, nodding. And I was like, and I don't want any more picnics. I'm 42 years old and I don't want to sit on the floor and eat on the hard floor. I want AC and I want a glass of wine with lunch. And I'm done. I'm just done. And I'm not a wild woman. I don't want to be a wild woman. I've been wild woman in every other past life. Today, I'm like royalty and I want a red carpet and like to be served. And she was like, okay. And I don't think I said I'm royalty, but I'm saying it right now. So I'll just own that. But it was like she just received it. And then we went and kind of got on this boulder and got in a circle. And she's like, does anybody else have anything else that they would like to deposit? And everyone's like, we're probably pretty sure Jenny said it all, like that nobody said anything. And after that, it was kind of a joke, like, Jenny's not a wild woman. And I'm like, I'm not a fucking wild woman. I don't want to be a wild woman. I don't need to go to France to play goddess. Like, I have access to this in me. Now, I'm saying this so boldly because I see a lot of like things on Instagram, and I see it's like these grown women are, it feels like we're playing house. Like we're like, let's play goddess this week, and then let's go through the jungle and play ayahuasca ceremony this week. And all of it's great if you know that you're playing something to access something that already is within you. And I'm like having all of these downloads, and I just, to be honest, I was like, I am such a bitch. Like I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's like, no, she's holding space for me. She's like, you do have access to these things. And so after like talking about it and really calming down, I realized that's why I was getting so frustrated, is because I had an expectation that I was going to all these sites and I was going to be cracked open in ways that I didn't know. I was going to, go to these churches and have these profound awakenings. And, you read about things that happen to people. And because of all my water and because of my highly spiritual placements, I do this all the time in my bed. And that's why I love to take photos, is because I can't connect when I'm around a bunch of people. I can see, I can take it in, but being human is very hard for me. Now, when I take a picture of it and I go back and I'm in my own comfort, in my own bed, in my own shell, and I look at the picture, I can go anywhere, anywhere in the world, anywhere in the etheric plane, and I can get downloads and codes and information. And I believe that we all can. But I do believe that some of us might need a more physical experience to have more access to it. I just thought that was me and learned it wasn't. And so it was a beautiful experience because, like I said, I learned something. I was meant to be there. I was meant to build a relationship with Natalia. She told me I was one of the most clear, authentic channels that she had ever met. She's like, you are the most authentic channel and medium I've ever met. You are so clear. And so that makes me feel a little bit good about, being so disturbed by, I'm like, I don't need another ceremony. I don't need ceremony. Like I'm in the ceremony, like opening one eye, like looking around, like what's going on. But I do ceremony by myself. And so that's what's so beautiful, is like we can be in ceremony and have beautiful experiences. And I do them at my retreats. I mean, I'm not knocking anything. I'm initiating a conversation and inviting us all to look a little bit deeper on, am I really feeling something, or am I feeling something because I saw it in a movie and I think I'm supposed to? Or I was told that this is holy, when really there's holiness everywhere. Like there's holiness and sacredness everywhere. And so what speaks to us is going to come in louder in the language that we are willing to perceive. And so I do perceive a lot through beauty. I do perceive a lot through animals and birds, and I have my language of messages. One is a pig, as many of you know. And so her house, she lives in this beautiful house in the South France, and then they added like a Airbnb, remodeled this portion of it, and it's an Airbnb. And when she's not having it be an Airbnb, that's where the retreats are hosted. And she was like, this used to be the pig house. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, like kind of like it was the pig house. And I was like, amazing, like this is so cool. Like I'm where the pigs used to sleep, because that's like my sign. So I was like the first person that was excited. I was, sleeping with where the pigs used to sleep. But all this to be said, Saturn is teaching us all a lesson right now. And because it's in Aries, it's initiating us to reflect so we can continue moving forward in a very bold, innovative way that we've never moved forward before. And for me, that is being more seen and being more unapologetic about the duality of how I communicate with the spirit world and how I serve people. And I sometimes had this image of, for instance, what an author looked like. I've been putting off writing my book for so long because I think I need to go to a cabin and be in the woods and be in solitary confinement for like a month. Where did I get that? Like, where did I see that? Why do I think that? Because everything I write about is life. I need to be in life, and I need to look at everything I've written in all my journals and in my computer and hire somebody to help me organize it. The book is already written. And so it's like, okay, I have an idea of what an author looks like, and then I have all these Gertrudes around me saying like, You're not good enough. You're not ready. And so I have an idea of what a medium looks like. I have an idea of what I might look like really shining. And then I have all these Gertrudes. I'm like, she just thinks she's this, or, she hasn't done the work. She's never even done this. And it's just there, it's always going to exist for all of us. And so I think that this is truly a season of us to wake the hell up to all the Gertrudes and realize like they're not invited. And so who is like fangirling us? Do we have anybody that's really like, I got you? Like you are so good and you are so funny and just cheers you on in the messiness that you are. Can we feel what it would be like to walk in to a room of those people? And how would that feel? And start to practice this in our minds so we can start to expand our energy as it's designed to and let Venus and Cancer come home and help us love, 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 love every part of ourselves from the inside out and help us continue this expansion and shedding of the layers that are people pleasing, walking on eggshells, and being just apologetic to assholes. That is what I would really like for us to invite in for this Leo season and get just a little bit more bold in our own right. Um, let's see. Oh, you guys, I love you so much. Okay. Let me think. Let me feel in for a second. I want you guys to feel in your own energy field, and I want you to just, as much as you can, bring it to your heart. I want just bring all your energy to your heart. And just picture a pink light, feeling pink around your heart. Mm. This is a question that actually came up for me when I was in France, and I'm going to pose it to you guys as well. But I'd like you to think of, because what I'm feeling is like us in our heart energy is breathtaking. It's so beautiful. It is so remarkably beautiful. And how may our beauty expanded, how may our, purest form of heart energy expanded offend the people around us? Like what might happen if we really truly expand, if we really truly allow beauty to rule us? How may that disrupt our lives? And it's so heartbreaking because I think every single one of us would probably agree that it's going to make other people feel small. It's going to make other people jealous. It's going to make other people criticize or ridicule you because you've changed or you're acting different or how dare you or, it must be nice. And so immediately, even just with a thought of us being more in our heart, more expanded and more beautiful, we're already at odds with people that we care about. And that is sad. And the only person that can change it is us. The only way that we are going to evolve in this way is by prioritizing our own heart energy over anyone else's comfort. And I want to do it. I want us all to do it. And I want us to have conversations where we can have a glass of champagne and we can, be silly and cuss and talk about funny things and inappropriate things, but at the end of it, it's still about us coming home to our truth. And that truth isn't always pureness. That's what I think people get confused. It's the one truth is that there's many truths. And amongst the truths of our stories, there sometimes the truth is bold. Sometimes it's angry. Sometimes it's harsh and it's not comfortable. But that's a frequency that needs to still move through us. It's a frequency that's still ours, and it's a frequency that can move through the heart. It doesn't always have to move through other areas. Um, I'm seeing this pop up here. I love you guys. Your smiles is just bringing so much joy. Okay, let's open it up for some questions, shall we? This will be fun. So this is just the only thing I ask is with the inspiration and context of everything that I spoke about, what is a question that came up within you that maybe you're feeling like fear or resistance or already know that you're going to be at a roadblock here? And then there's an email question I am going to get to, but I want to wrap that in at the end. But as far as the context of this today, and shedding the layers, not walking on eggshells, and not entertaining any more Gertrudes, who would like to ask a question? Guys are quiet today. All right.
I can. Oh,
Thank you, Allison.
Oh, Heather and I both, but so I guess like what's coming up for me is I know that being fully expressed is a problem or like it's blocking me. And we've talked about it before, and like with Radiant Nights, like I know I need to get out there more. And I don't know, I just have all these barriers and resistance to like leaving my house, returning a phone call, and maybe I'm just in that phase. Someone to give me some creative ideas on maybe partnering with people who can help me with like the more extroverted sides of events. But I'm just wondering, that's what comes up for me is like, when am I gonna get over that? Or like, I don't know, am I in a phase or do I need to heal from trauma?
Well, I think you'll get over it when you decide. And I don't think that you need to heal from any more trauma because I think that you know so much. I mean, I think that the one thing that we run into when we're in any of this work is we know so much. And knowing more actually stalls us. And so, really, it's not about knowing, it's about feeling. And because you're rising Cancer and Venus is moving into that for you, I know I said that I wasn't going to talk about personal transits, but I just know her very well. I'm so sorry. Um, like, oops, didn't follow my own rules. But, Venus moving into Cancer with Jupiter being there, and this is your first house of identity, and knowing that you're really going through a lot of big identity shifts with just your world kind of changing on many levels, I think this is a time to really exercise new ways of freedom for yourself. So it's gonna be, you're gonna have to anchor, you're gonna have to access courage, and you're gonna have to access boldness. It's not gonna feel comfortable because it's all gonna feel brand new, but I really do believe that you are an artist, and I believe that you're meant to be experienced and meant to be seen. And so the more that you can allow yourself to experience and feel and tap into more levels of sensuality of the earth and your own being and living it, because first house is you, then I think the world is going to respond. But it feels like sometimes you put yourself in a straitjacket, and it's like, what is that straitjacket? And is it because there's a room of Gertrudes? Is it because there is something that you do cognitively remember that when you did it meant this? But really, if that's the case, that's one incident, and it's having so much power over you. But I think that your energy, as I know it and as I'm feeling it in this moment, is somewhat in a straitjacket and being contained. And it's not only a disservice to you, it is a disservice to the world. And so Radiant Nights is an amazing idea. And the first two have been very successful and sold out. And it's in Texas and Austin. Is it Austin? Yeah, Austin, Texas. And I think it just needs to find its pulse. And right now it's not having its pulse because there's still doubt. But I think that it's about you getting out there. You have to just get out there. Let the world see you. Meet new people. Go to take a road you don't usually take. Go to a coffee shop you don't usually go to. Be in environments that are not your norm, and see how the world responds to you. Always heart-centered. This is something I do when I travel, and I was with Jane, and I was like, Jane, okay, we're going out to dinner, and I was like, remember, the happiest girls are the prettiest girls, and I'm like, let's expand our energy out as big as we can through our heart chakra. And then I was like, Spirit, please, like, this is our last night here, just bring me magic. And like everything was just unbelievable. And we pull up to this place, and our Uber driver's like, how did you get a table here? And I was like, I don't know. I just went online and there was one open. And he's like, nobody can get a table here. He's like, this is where Louis Vuitton just did their big event last week. And he was telling about all the celebrities and there was these beautiful cars pulling up. And we walk in and we were early. So I asked him, like, is there anywhere where we could have a glass of champagne as we wait for dinner? And he sits us in the front row on this balcony and brings us Renard Blanc de Blanc. And I'm like, this is my favorite champagne. Like, I can't even believe it. And then we're having dinner. And then I look over and I'm like, Jane, do you remember what I asked for tonight? And she's like, magic. And there was somebody doing magic. There was a guy doing magic at all the tables. And it was just like this insane night. And it's like, I didn't doubt if our Uber driver was going to get us there in time. I didn't doubt where we were going to eat. I didn't question anything. I didn't ask anything. I just said, I want to have a night filled with magic. And I opened my heart chakra and I expanded it. And so if you think about you having a clean slate on being, the Cancer that you are in the rising and expanding, and you have Venus on your side and you have Jupiter on your side, you really could rewrite the story in this, these next coming months, which is very exciting.
Thank
Yay.
you.
You're welcome. That feels like a toast. Cheers. Oh, I love it. Okay, Heather.
Oh, come on. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. So since I have been working with you and since the retreat, I've just been seeing people different, right? I just kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm reading into people more quickly than I did in the past. And even like my coworkers and there's a lot of manipulative people out there, like Gertrude's, right? And I guess I'm struggling with, I want to like run the other way. I don't want to know them. I don't want to be their friend, but sometimes you have to. So I think that's where I'm struggling. Like, how do I want to set boundaries, but at the same time, I think I struggle with kind of getting bulldozed in a way. So there, I'd rather just stay away from them. But sometimes you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in that weird space. And I guess I don't know how to navigate that. In my personal life, it's good. Like when I pick up on something, I distance myself or, don't hang out with people that all that often. Like I'll still, go to dinner here, there, but not as frequent. But when you work with people and they're like in meetings and, my boss relies on me to do things and I'm like, ooh, that's
Yeah.
where I'm having that kind of issue.
Yeah, it's very hard. And so one, having conversations, so bringing awareness to it. But really what you're talking about is this happens a lot when people are really, really sensitive as children. So they're sensitive as children. And then, we grow up and we're like, oh, I'm empathic or I am psychic or whatever label we put on ourselves, we start to identify with this awareness that we have that's beyond the, cognitive awareness. But the reason we do that is because we don't feel safe. And so we push our auric field out and we want to perceive energy. We want to know about people. We want to know who's a threat. And so we're constantly assessing and taking inventory of energy. And so as we get older, it's burdensome. I mean, it really, I mean, I believe from studying root cause that those are the types of people that get fibromyalgia. Those are the type of people that get autoimmune. Like we have our auric field so big that it starts to just erode our body because what our soul and body have figured out is it's not safe for us to be here. So the body starts to slowly attack itself. And so when you start to do this work and you start to realize like, holy crap, like I'm very awake. I'm very sensitive. I have these intuitions and you start categorizing it, then you start realizing, oh, I'm not only emotionally intelligent, but to be emotionally mature, I have to say, like, what is mine and what is theirs? And so you're starting to navigate the phase you're in is like, I now know that that's theirs and I don't like it. I know that, they have daddy issues and it's making me really uncomfortable. I know that they need to do the work and I just wish they would. And so it's like we start putting these labels on people because it's usually something that we recognize that's been along our journey or along the journey of somebody close to us. And so it's identifying it, but it's still not separating our energy. And so really everybody that is around us, coworkers, family, anybody, I do believe that they come with a lesson. And sometimes that lesson is a firm boundary. Sometimes that lesson is walking away. Sometimes that lesson is a conversation. But I do believe that there are people, I've witnessed them, and I get more and more like this as I evolve, but like there are people that are unfazed, like really truly healthy, sovereign individuals that are unfazed by other people and what they're doing and how they're acting. And it's remarkable to watch. And these aren't numb people. These aren't people that are not, aware of the way that we're learning and growing and doing the work that we're doing. These are people that just have that much discernment. And so I think what's happening, I feel like with you, is that you are extremely sensitive and you are extremely awake to energy. And it's disruptive when you're around people that are, like you said, manipulative or have, ill intentions. But if you look at it on a grander scale, manipulation is just a way of surviving. Ill intentions is just a way of navigating their lives. So if they're trying to do something and you're like, that's not ethical, they don't know it's not ethical. They're just trying to get what they want to feel safe or get the promotion, and so they're on their own story. And you are realizing, like, as a manager and as a higher up in this company, and just energetically, I think now realizing how much you absorb is going to have a high standard for yourself. And when we have high standards for ourselves, we usually project that onto other people. But it can be problematic because other people have their own path. So the work is recognizing it and seeing, like, I feel like this person is dot 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 dot. Is there anything I can do about this? Like, truly, is there anything I can do about this? And if you want to go even deeper, because usually it's no, but if you want to go even deeper, you would say, what is the inner child wound of this person? What is motivating this person to behave that way? And then you would try to offer compassion to that facet of them. And usually that's enough to change the relationship immediately. If you can access the wound, the inner child wound of people's behavior, and you can, like, they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be acknowledged, they want to be included, and you make a point to say, I wanted to make sure you were included. Well, hold on, can you repeat that? That's really brilliant. Even if you don't agree with it, because you know that they're going about it in a really shitty way, but that's maturity. That's emotional maturity, because it's saying, I see the information here and now I have an opportunity to be the adult, the bigger person, because of how much I know. Instead of, this hurts me, I don't like it, he's looking at me, he's touching me, because that's the type of energy that's more adolescent, and that's what we do because we don't know how to decipher what's happening. And so I can walk into a room and I immediately am like, I don't like that girl, I don't like her energy, and I'll still say that. I mean, this is the human experience. There's still people that I'm like, like, I don't want to dig deep enough to know the childhood wounding. Like, it's not where I want to put my energy. So you can do that as well. But if it's somebody that you're literally having to see every day at work, it might be fun to play with energetics and just go a little bit deeper and see if you can respond in a different way to get a different reaction, not only from that person, but in your body when you're around them.
You know, that's good, because I'm not good at being fake and, just tolerating, because I'm like, we gotta talk about this, there's an issue.
Yeah.
So, and I did set up a meeting with this individual tomorrow. I'm supposed to like help mentor her, but she's like, I don't know, she thinks she's already there, So yeah.
So the best thing for you probably is to ask a lot of questions and practice at listening, because you're going to connect a lot more dots if you let her take up more of the space than you taking up the space.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
try to see what's really going on beneath the surface and have that intention going in. Like, I want to see what the underlying need is here, or the underlying wound is here that's motivating her to act in a way that isn't quite digestible for me.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I love all my East Coast people. They're like, I'm not surface, or I like a guy. I'm like, I know.
I kind of have a very similar situation, Heather,
Yeah.
and it is like consuming the office. This woman's, I feel the best way to explain her energy is bombastic. Like,
Ooh.
she will come into the room and she'll be late for a meeting and she just takes over. Like there is no awareness whatsoever there. And you can tell that it's definitely from survival. She's a big FOMO person, has to have all the information, has to know, and has to project that she is the one who knows. And I have enough awareness now to go, that's not mine.
Yeah.
And I don't want to solve it, but it's really becoming a wall from preventing the rest of, like, no one will address her. I don't even know. I struggle with how to be in a meeting, be collaborative, and move things forward in a positive manner because she brings so much trauma.
Yeah. I can feel this. It's actually making me contract everywhere.
That's what it does to me too. Like I get, very much like you, Heather, I just want to say, shut the F up. Somebody else needs to speak here. But I am trying to use some discernment. I'm trying to be emotionally mature. I don't even, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And it's
So-
not mine to solve.
No, it's not. But sometimes this is something that I've had to learn about myself. And this is where like Gertrudes are always in the room for me. But I'm just gonna say it. Like I had somebody reach out to me recently and something really messy happened. And this person loves like 90s rap. And I was like, maybe you're not supposed to be your higher self. Maybe you're supposed to channel Tupac. Like maybe you're supposed to get a little, like feisty here and not let this dramatize itself. And so with you, what I'm feeling is like when I grab my neck, it feels like you're being like silenced and muzzled. And so like people can't do that, but their energy can make us do it to ourselves.
Okay.
And so I would almost look at this person as if it was like your own child. Like say you have a feisty teenager, and you need to get a point across, but you still do it in a way that's compassionate enough so she doesn't like burn the house down. And so it seems like she's like volatile, but you could even address that. Like I'm kind of nervous to bring this up because I feel like it's not going to be received well, but this energy is feeling really uncomfortable in this room. Like I'm feeling like I don't even want to contribute because of the intensity of what you bring, and almost start a conversation to see if anyone else is willing to like say, I agree. I don't know if you would have support, but it's
Yeah.
almost like you're being called to be like a whistleblower, but not in a way of attacking, but saying like, I'm having a response here that's now physical and I kind of want to talk about it.
Yeah, because I don't want to have that response.
No.
Well, first of all, it takes too much energy, but like too much time. Like there's so much more work that we can do. It feels like a big whammy to pull everything to the side when we get in our meetings and it should be boom, 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 let's execute.
Mm-hmm.
And I did make that point. I did kind of use my voice, and I was very firm. And I asked her to be quiet 3 times so that I could be heard, because that's what she does. You say one thing and I call it ring around the rosy. My ex-husband used to do it. I'm very well adapted at that, and I just don't play anymore. And then I was able to bring that conversation back to look at our skill set. Like we really can rock here if we just can work together.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I thought. Like she's a smart girl. If she would just listen to constructive criticism, like we could all move forward,
And wouldn't that just be so joyful? Like there's just, I have this vision and I can just see so much, and it's a huge roadblock. So
Here's the thing that I want us all to remember though, is like these people exist in all of our lives, like every single one of them, like whether it's family or coworkers or a stranger, like just like why me? Why is this happening? And they are very, very, very prominent in retrogrades. And so when they get louder in retrogrades, there is an opportunity for us to take responsibility. And what I was feeling with you, Terry, when you were speaking, is when you were like communicating to us what you said, it felt like you were from the head through the throat. So from the air through the throat instead of
Versus
from the heart.
here.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so it does sound differently, and
I
I
love
think it
that.
will be able to be received differently. And you might have to rehearse it and go back and forth.
Uh-huh.
And the only reason I know this is because I do it. And so when I come from here, it's a very different feeling than when I come from here. And
Oh,
so I do it when it's unsolicited. And so when I am in a environment like this, or when I'm working with a client, my heart is very much involved. Like we are in a space where we're like, we want to better ourselves, we want to work on ourselves. But I have a little bit of a shadowy part of me that will be out and about or socializing with people, and I will start to get annoyed on some level by energy. And then I will decide to tell them, "Da, da, 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 da." And it's coming from here. And yeah, it still might be channel, or it still might be great information. And some people are like, wow, but at the end of the day, I don't like how I feel, because that to me is not my purest delivery. So I would just kind of see like, when do I speak from here to the throat, and when do I speak from my heart through the throat?
oh, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it comes from my head.
Yeah. Because
Into my mouth.
so much. Yeah, you're receiving so much information, and projectors are geniuses. They're just problem solvers. So you know how to solve the problem. So to sit time after time in a situation where the problem is not changing, it's very frustrating. But that's when we have to kind of sit back and say like, well, how is this problem reoccurring in my world, my universe, for me to learn something? And can I approach it a little bit differently to just see if the energy dissipates a little bit?
Great. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one more question, and then I'm going to dive into the question from the email, if anyone has any interest.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can, Jamie. Hello.
Hi. So I quit my job. I am in my first week working from home, and it's wonderful.
Wonderful.
But there's always a but, right? I know myself well enough to know that I love being in my shadow, and I love being by myself. So I'm trying to find a balance of not ending up so far in my shadow, because I know you have told me several times before even that I forget to come up for air.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to talk to you about this. Like, let's just have a conversation for a second, because I feel like I'm there too. Like yesterday, I was so in the thick of the sadness and the shadow and the, just depression, like just the really, really, really yucky, like low vibration. And there's one thing like about going into the unconscious and like, the underworld, but what I like on the other side of that, as in today, I'm like, not every door needs to be open. Like, I think sometimes I go down there and I'm like, in this closet, and I want to go in here and sit for a while. And I just like get so addicted to like going into like every dark, shadowy closet to feel, I guess. I don't know. It's almost like this melancholy feeling of like, did I miss anything? Is there anywhere else I can be sad? And my husband is just like, why are you like this? I'm like, I don't know. That's where my best poetry comes from. But when I said that Venus is moving into Cancer, and it's the wine cellar of my heart, I do feel like some of us are called to really go inward. And I was almost going to take myself offline, like be like, I'm going to do it for a month, and I'm just going to be unavailable to everybody for a month. And somebody was like, why a month? I'm like, I don't know, because that's how long Venus is going to be in Cancer. And they're like, do you think maybe you could just do it for a week and see how you feel? I'm like, maybe. Like, I'm so dramatic. But I think that the fear of you being there is just a fear. But I think what I'm feeling with you, and I feel like it's similar to me, is that we have to allow ourselves to just be in this pause and in this shadow or in this sadness or in this stillness. One, to address what our relationship is with stillness, what our relationship is with nothingness, but also because that's where creativity is bred. And we consume and we consume and we consume, and we don't leave space to create. And so if you have left everything and now you're in this void, this is a prime time to plant seeds. But we can't plant them with our cognitive mind. It's not like, a New Year's resolution. It's I need to feel myself and get to know myself enough to remember how to dream and see what inspires me, see what expands my heart. And I can't do that until I let myself mourn the parts of me that was operating in that job or that life or that desire or that dream or that want, and let that shed so a new layer, a new skin can grow. But talk to me. How does that feel?
It feels good. It was a good choice. It was the right choice for me. It was a long overdue choice for me. I know there is a lot of fear there. That was 14 years. That was all of my adult life was that. So I'm still in the same line of work, and I feel so that gives me some security. It gives me a lot more free time, what I'm doing now. And so I find myself several hours out of the day now, instead of being so busy because I'm at work. I have a lot of time to do me, reflect, this, that, and that's when I started today. I was like, am I going to end up too far down in the shadow again? That then you say opening all the closet doors, I say like spring cleaning, because you're going to go through literally every part of the house, trying to get rid of stuff.
I'm being called to do, or I'm being called to share with you mirror work. And no one likes mirror work. Nobody likes mirror work, but mirror work is life changing. And I think that there's something that's like, I'm feeling that about the job that you were in, there was this, a lot of due diligence and a lot of hard work and a lot of effort to be seen, be acknowledged, be seen. And so if that is true, and if that's what you're walking away from, then it's an opportunity to do mirror work and just like really allow yourself to gaze into your eyes, look just directly into your eyes and just be like, I see you. I see you. I see how hard you work. I see how loyal you are. I see how committed you are. I see the artistry that you have, and really start to like integrate this new authority and confidence into your own self. So whatever you do move into isn't going to have that sort of like need to be acknowledged or seen. Does that resonate?
It does.
Yeah. It's a hard exercise, but I tell you, I was having a conversation with a couple girls a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about mirror work, and they were like, "Oh, I hate when I walk by a mirror in my house." Like I'm like, "Ugh," and I'm like, "I'm the opposite." Like I walk by a mirror, and I'll be like, "Oh, there you are." Like it almost reminds me that I have a body because I'm so not in my body that it's like I've done mirror work so much that now it's like reminds me like, oh, like you're gonna have a good day. Like it really truly is the opposite. And I do not think I would feel that way about myself if I did not do the dedicated mirror work that I did. And it isn't looking at your body, it's like in the gaze of your eyes. It's a deeper soul connection with yourself to where then you realize, okay, so this shell is holding the beauty that I am. And I also love that.
I like it.
Good. Good. Oh, okay. I love these comments. Okay, so I'm going to address this question because I wanted to say it out loud because I want to see what comes through me, because it's not something I've actually put much thought into, but I know that there was probably going to be some sort of channel that was going to come through about it. So the specific question about astrology, I will answer in the diamond codes, but Michelle has asked that she's sort of wanting to know what's coming up for this upcoming month because her brother Adam passed away on August 10th, 2013. And every year she gets kind of stuck in this sadness. And it was when I read it, I felt this like, oh, like this heart sink. And what I realized, what I thought about when I read it, and then I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about here is, just the relationship we have with death and birth, and how when I lost my stepdad recently and then the birth of my granddaughter, and how I almost had opposite emotional responses. And so my stepdad died, and as this happens a lot when people cross over, I feel this lightness in my body, and I feel this relief in my body, and I feel this celebration in my body. And when I first started mediumship and people would ask me if people were going to live or if they were alive, I would think yes when I would feel those things, because I was like, yeah, like this is a beautiful feeling. Of course they're going to. And then I realized that that was actually the feeling of them retiring from the body and returning to source. And then when I watched my granddaughter be born with a Scorpio moon, I cried a lot. And I was like what, with what I know about astrology, the pain that the soul might endure is heartbreaking to me. But then I look at all of us and I'm like, who do we know that has not had pain? Who do we know that has not had loss? Who do we know that is just skipping through life and not experiencing all the things that they came here to experience, to learn and grow and evolve? And so it made me just confused a little bit and have to sit with it. And so if on his anniversary, there's always this deep sadness, what it feels like to me is that it's one of the doorways to your sadness. And so you've attached his death to be a portal of, I get to be sad now, instead of allowing sadness to be a human emotion that just happens throughout the year. And I think that a lot of us do this. We don't, we're not really comfortable with anger. We don't really love sadness. And then all of a sudden we're at a funeral and the floodgates are safe to open. And then we're just sad, and that sadness compounds. And then we're sad about everything. And there's nothing that can really make us feel better because it's okay to be sad. And so I'm wondering if we can maybe this year add something else and add this celebration of, he did leave behind beautiful children. He did leave behind beautiful memories with his sister. What did he contribute? What joy can we feel, to where this day is not only a portal of sadness, but it's a portal of joy and celebration as well. And then know that all the emotions are always accessible for us, but it's the people that are really present in living that suppress the least. And the people that are really present in living aren't emotional for very long. Like children, I'm sad for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, like they emotions move quite quickly, and they have information tied to them. And as we get older and things compound and compound and compound, like the grief I was feeling yesterday, that was many, many, many years of me trying to make Gertrude's like me. That was many, many years of me trying to just be liked, included enough. And I was crying because I realized now that I have this awareness, I can't be that anymore. And now that I'm not going to be that anymore, it means that it's time for me to be seen. And that's terrifying. What's that going to do to my life? And so with this, I think that when you come up on this month, even thinking about coming up on this month, I feel like it feels heavy to you. But maybe it feels heavy to you because you wait all year to release the sadness that has been building up. And I don't know if that's true, but it could be something to think about. And then it also could be something to think about on, all of us have a temporary time here. And it's okay to build a different relationship with death and a different relationship with birth, and realize, wow, what a joy do we get to have to see all these births and see all these deaths and see how humanity works and how evolution is. Like, it's happening right before our eyes. And so what is a lifetime? And what did that lifetime leave behind? And what is the potential of a new baby? And what could that potential life do? And the optimism is just as important as the fear, and the joy is just as important as the grief. And all of it seems to just weave together in this, tapestry of life. But if we focus on just the grief and we're burdened by just the grief, it feels like it's a choice. It feels like it's a choice to utilize this time of the year to mourn. And that, if that's your choice, that's your choice. And there's things that we do that. I mean, there's certain holidays We have, you know, Memorial Day. We have certain things that we come together collectively and we mourn or we celebrate. And I think if you look at this as more of an opportunity to celebrate your brother and celebrate the time you had and honor him and do something, have his favorite drink and you know, do something that is actually like, I still remember you, I still love you, I can still hear your laugh, I can still hear your stupid jokes or whatever he brought to you that made you kind of feel light. Choose to focus on that when grief feels heavy. And say, I'm not ignoring the grief because the grief reminds me that how much I loved you, but I'm going to also balance it out with a little bit more joy. Does that help? Yeah. Your smile is so beautiful. You've been smiling the whole call. Oh, gosh, you know, champagne channeling, like I think it's like always going to be this high vibe, but like today felt really grounded. Felt really, really grounded and rooted. And I hope that I hope we leave this call with a little bit more permission to step into Leo season as our creative selves living through our heart chakra. Like that would be my hope. And with confidence to call out Gertrude's. Like, you're Gertrude. I don't want to even hang out with you. I'm not going to emotionally labor. I'm not going to adjust myself. I'm not going to pivot anymore. And I'm going to speak from my heart, but I'm still going to speak truth. And sometimes through my heart, there's some hard truths that need to be said. And I think that we could be onto something here. Oh, okay. Let me just see these really quick. So much love. Oh, yes. All the hugs, Michelle. All the hugs. Yes, yes, yes. All right, you guys. Thank you. Happy Thursday. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your beautiful smiling faces. Cheers. I hope to see you on the next call or in the diamond codes or wherever I might see you. Mwah. Bye.